Hi everyone, it's Connie and welcome to today's video. Today I want to chat to you about head energy versus heart energy and how to actually tell the difference between our mind and our heart. And I'm having a lot of people contact me about this at the moment. It's something that I've actually spoken about quite a bit on my blog, but I've never really recorded a video or written a post to specify the difference between these two energies. So I wanted to dive into that today for you. So first things first, to understand the way that our mind works, to understand our mind energy. Now, this is probably the energy you've spent most of your life living from. This is the logical, practical, rational part of our mind, the way that we think, the way that we strategize, the way that we plan. And it's when all of our decisions and actions are driven from our belief systems, our past programming, our memories, our identity, the way that we see ourselves. So we all have this internal programming that's installed within us that we've grown up with, everything we've come to know and believe about ourselves. And when we live from our minds, that energy drives us. It determines everything that we do. It is the filter through which we see the world. And it's how we determine if something is or isn't possible for us. It's the belief systems we have about the type of person that we are and what we can achieve in the world. It's how we have learnt to receive love and acceptance and approval, maybe by doing what we think other people want or expect. It's that analytical part of ourselves. Right? Now, the problem with living from your mind is it can be really restrictive because we're constantly checking in with our mind, asking, have I done this before? Is this possible for me? Do I have what it takes? Will other people like it? Does this fit into my identity? Does this fit into other people's expectations? So there's a lot of thinking and assessing, planning, strategizing, right? And we're very limited by what we know, what we've experienced before, and the boundaries we've placed around ourselves. The heart energy is the opposite. It is limitless. It is infinite, and it is new possibilities. It is the possibility of doing something you've never done before. It is the possibility of redefining yourself, of being whoever you want and whatever you want, and of doing anything that you want. Now, the heart doesn't it isn't constrained or restricted by anything that makes sense or anything logical. So it will often take you on an unconventional path. It will speak to you based on what you love. That's it. It will pull you towards what you love, what brings you joy, what makes you feel expanded and alive and passionate. It will pull you towards play and fun and creativity, self-expression, right? And it doesn't care about whether or not other people agree or approve. It has no agenda of getting love from the external world because the heart is love. It's unconditional love, and it is an abundance of that love, of fullness, completeness, wholeness, generosity, kindness, compassion, gratitude. That's the heart energy. So when you're sitting with trying to determine what's your heart and what's your head, a great place to start is to simply put your hands on your heart and bring all your attention down into that area and ask yourself, how do I feel? Because your mind will always be based on thinking and your heart is always based on feeling. What feels good to you? So start to practice making decisions from a space of feeling. When we make decisions from our mind, it's all about weighing pros and cons, shoulds, need tos, have tos, obligations, and there's an agenda behind everything. Versus, this is just what I love. This is what feels good to me. This is what feels supportive for me. When you sit with the feeling, you'll notice, say you're sitting with two options trying to make a decision. One of them will feel like you'll feel more pulled. It'll feel lighter. It'll feel more expansive. It'll have a greater sense of happiness and bliss to it. The mind energy typically is more contractive, heavy, restrictive, and it kind of pulls in rather than wanting to pull you out. So to understand, the heart energy is always calling you towards what you love. It's driven by love. It needs to meet no rules, no expectations, and it completely can step outside the constraints of your mind. You may have to say yes to something you have no idea how it's going to happen. You might have to break your own rules and redefine yourself. Whereas your mind will keep you contained in the way you've always done stuff. It will drive you from a space of fear, from a space of need, and from a space of keeping you really small and really limited. So play around with this, guys. I just recently ran an online workshop called Drop Into Your Heart. I'll put a link to that below. So if you want to dive deeper into this conversation, that's a free online workshop that you can download. But I wanted to share this with you as a starting point for those of you who are wanting to know how to let your feeling guide you rather than the constrictive, limiting patterns of your mind. I hope that's been supportive for you. Leave me some comments and some feedback, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Bye.